In December of 2022, Tetris the Grandmaster, the first game in Eureka's TGM franchise, was re-released for the Switch and PS4. This was huge because it was the first time that the game had seen an official release outside of Japan and the first time the game had been readily playable legally in over 20 years. So imagine the community's shock when on May 2nd, 2023, Eureka announced that the second game would be re-released as well. And on June 1st, the Arcade Archives release of Tetris, the Absolute, the Grandmaster 2 Plus, aka TAP, arrived to the Nintendo eShop and PlayStation Store. Now, I already covered the TGM1 release where I called it a port by accident. It's not, it's just an emulated version of the game. Also, every single ACA release pretty much has the same features, which means you can pause the game in TAP. Also, I already did a video where I took a look at all three games of the TGM franchise, so you should go check that out because this video is mainly going to be focusing on the differences between the original game and the ACA release, which there are a few. So, let's hop into the game. So here we have the title screen of the game. We have three different options. Let's check out original mode first. Now the first noticeable difference is actually right here. If you don't press anything, you'll be taken to the attract mode, where you'll see some footage of the various different modes in the game, with a red banner and some text scrolling across the screen that says demonstration. In the original release, the text would also show Eureka's website, which is eureka.co.jp. However, in the ACA release, this was replaced by another demonstration. My theory is that they did this because back in the day, the site used to be home to Eureka's Leaderboards, which isn't a thing anymore, so they decided to remove it because they didn't really have any purpose, but again, this is just speculation. Now the next difference is subtle, but it's a bit of a big change. You see, the original game ran at a speed of 61.68 Hz. However, the TAP ACA release runs at a speed of 60 Hz. This means that the game is running 1% slower, which is actually a bit of an advantage due to the game being incredibly fast-paced. Now, I wouldn't consider this a deal breaker. In fact, this was bound to happen. The reason that this is the case is because not every monitor is compatible with 61.68. Also, there will be a lot of screen tearing and other concerns. So, in the end, the developers got what they want. One interesting thing to note about this is that the music is actually a little bit broken. Take a listen to this. As you can hear, there's a little bit of silence before the loop plays again. Little annoying, but you're not really gonna hear it over the sounds of... Now it's time to take a look at how they handled Caravan and High Score mode. Just as a refresher, High Score mode is where you compete with yourself and others to see how far you can get and how fast you can play. Caravan mode, on the other hand, is trying to get the highest score that you can in 5 minutes. In this case, for High Score mode, you can choose between Master and TGM Plus, whereas with Caravan mode, you can choose between Master and Death. Which, by the way, is a little funny, because of the Toricon at level 500. Like, if you go slower than 3 minutes and 25 seconds, you just can't progress. The game already has its own Caravan mode. Also, one thing I forgot to mention in my previous review, you can't pause in High Score mode and Caravan mode. If you do, you'll be forced to restart the game. Finally, let's take a look at the leaderboards. Each of the three modes have their own separate leaderboards. Caravan mode having one for Master and one for Death, High Score mode having one for Master and one for TGM Plus, and Original mode only having one combined leaderboard, hosting all modes and runs with special codes, those being Big Mode, 20G mode, and Ghost Piece mode. All of them are sorted by level, then rank, then time. And that's about it for the TAP ACA port. Except it's not, because I forgot one thing. Multiplayer. Like the TGM1 release, there's only local multiplayer, no online multiplayer here. You're gonna have to use Fightcade for that one. Also, I'm playing on the Switch version, but the PS4 version is nearly identical. It just has slightly less input lag, apparently. Overall, I would highly recommend that you pick this game up. This is probably the most accessible version of TGM that we have, simply because there's a lot more that you can do in this game compared to TGM 1. So, what's next? Well, there are 2 games in the franchise that still haven't seen a re-release yet, those being Terror Instinct and Ace. But there are rumors that a new game might be coming instead. Will we see the return of TGM 4? Who knows? For now, thank you so much for watching.